Hello guys, welcome to another scary radio video. Please subscribe first. That will help my channel to get discovered by new visitors. Thank you, and enjoy listening. Once upon a time, in a small village, there lived a family of four: John, his wife Sarah, and their two children, Tom and Emily. They were a happy family, living a peaceful life in their cozy house. One day, while John was at work, Sarah and the kids heard a loud knock on the door. They opened it to find a man standing outside, drenched in blood. The man begged for help, saying he had been attacked by some strangers. Feeling pity for him, Sarah let him in and gave him some warm clothes to wear. But as the night progressed, strange things started happening in the house. The man's behavior became erratic, and he kept muttering to himself. Tom and Emily heard strange noises coming from the man's room, and when they went to check, they found the man performing some kind of strange ritual. Sarah tried to call John, but the phone lines were down. She became increasingly worried about the man and his behavior, but the man insisted that everything was fine and that they should go to bed. That night, Sarah had a nightmare. She saw the man in her dream, covered in blood and holding a knife. She woke up sweating, only to realize that the man was standing next to her bed, holding a knife in his hand. Sarah screamed, waking up Tom and Emily. The man started laughing hysterically, and before anyone could react, he lunged at Sarah with a knife. John arrived just in time to save his family, but the man managed to escape. From that day on, strange things continued to happen in the village. People reported seeing the man lurking in the shadows, muttering to himself. They said that he was looking for revenge, and that he would stop at nothing to get it. The village was never the same again. People became afraid of the dark, and children would not leave their houses after sunset. John and Sarah tried to move away with their family, but they could never escape the memories of that dreadful night. Years passed, and the man was never caught. Some say that he still wanders the village, looking for his next victim. The legend of the man in the night lives on, and people tell the story to scare each other on dark and stormy nights. In the old town of Millfield, there was a mansion that had been abandoned for years. The locals said that it was haunted by the ghosts of the previous owners, who had died tragically in a fire that had engulfed the house years ago. Despite the warnings, a family named the Johnsons decided to buy the mansion and renovate it. They were excited about their new home and the opportunity to restore its former glory. But as soon as they moved in, strange things started happening. They would hear footsteps in the empty hallways, doors would open and close by themselves, and they would feel a cold breeze blowing through the house. The Johnsons tried to ignore it, thinking that it was just their imagination playing tricks on them. But one night, as they were sitting in the living room, they heard a loud banging sound coming from the upstairs bedroom. Mrs. Johnson went to check, but when she entered the room, she found it completely empty. Suddenly, she felt a cold hand touch her shoulder, and she turned around to see the ghostly figure of a woman staring at her. The Johnsons were terrified, and they tried to leave the house, but the doors were locked, and they couldn't escape. They realized with horror that they were trapped in the house with the ghosts. The ghostly figures started appearing more frequently, and the Johnsons were haunted by the memories of the tragic events that had taken place in the mansion. They could hear the screams of the previous owners, and they could see their charred remains in the ashes. The Johnsons tried to seek help, but no one believed them. They were isolated in their haunted home, tormented by the ghosts that refused to let them leave. Every night they would huddle together, praying for the spirits to release them from their captivity. But one day, a group of ghost hunters arrived in the town. They had heard about the haunted mansion and wanted to investigate. They managed to enter the house, armed with their equipment and knowledge of the paranormal. As they explored the mansion, they could feel the presence of the ghosts around them, but instead of being afraid, they tried to communicate with them, asking them to reveal their stories and their reasons for haunting the house. Slowly, the ghosts started to reveal their tragic past, and the ghost hunters realized that they were not malevolent spirits, but tormented souls seeking justice and peace. They managed to help the ghosts find closure, and they were finally able to release them from their earthly ties. The Johnsons were relieved and grateful to be free from a haunted mansion. They left the house, never to return again. The mansion stood empty once more, but the locals say that they can still hear the echoes of the ghosts' whispers on dark and stormy nights.